Hi everyone, welcome to Studio Jake. I'm your host, Jacob Airy. You can be sure to follow this page, follow this YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button and ring that little bell. Sorry if I seem a little mixed up, and sorry for the incredibly blank walls and kind of the dark of this room. I have moved into my new apartment. That's where I'm filming from right now. So it looks a little different, but don't worry. I'll have a setup here soon. I'll have a backdrop, just with moving and everything. Things always get turned around, mixed up. That's why I'm staring down at you, like I'm President Obama or something, looking down at you from my nose up. So the royal wedding is happening. Okay, I don't care. Didn't we, beat the British? Good. I guess I'm happy that these two are getting married. The prince and this Meghan Markle person who was on the CW. Good for them. Anyway, before we jump into the important topics, I should actually say less important topics. I just wanted to just say that for my home state of Texas, I'm Texas born, Texas bred, Texas raised. Though I live in Los Angeles now, Texas will always be my real home. It'll always be my true home. It'll always be my first home. And I just wanted to say that my heart goes out to all the victims of the recent Santa Fe shooting there in Texas. My heart goes out to you, and I just want you to know that you're not forgotten. Santa Fe, I've been to it. It's a very lovely town. It's a very pretty town. I didn't stay there like forever. I don't want to give anyone the wrong idea, but I have driven through it several times en route to Galveston or to Houston, and I just want to say how sorry I am that this happened. It's not right. It's not fair, and never. It should not ever happen again. And enough is enough. It's time to end any form of gun control and let every student, I'm sorry, not every student, but let every school be able to choose their own security to avoid these kinds of things from happening. We don't want these things to happen again. They need to be allowed to choose how they're going to protect their students, and that is the way it is. Gun control measures, they don't work. Just look in New Orleans, look in Chicago, look here in Los Angeles, look in New York City. They're just not working, okay? And these schools are gun-free zones, and it's horrifying that the left has already started to use this as an opportunity to push for gun control. You got the ridiculous activists that kind of became popular after the incident in Parkland. They're already standing on the graves of their fellow teenagers and saying, "Hey, enough is enough. Gun control now." And they're also stealing optics from the Holocaust, which I think is atrocious. I'm not Jewish. I'm Cajun, but still, I think that's atrocious and disgusting. Never again is meant to be a remembrance of what happened in the Holocaust. And I don't think we should co-opt those for anything else. That needs to stay what it is. So again, I just want to say my heart goes out to Santa Fe, Texas, and I want you to know that you are not forgotten, and we have your back. We're with you no matter what. So moving along, one thing I wanted to bring up is I actually said I was reading this book back in February. I did a February reading list, and I finally finished it, The Man He Never Was by James Rubert. I picked it up because it's it was advertised as a fresh take on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, which is one of my favorite classical books. For those who know me, I'm not very sentimental on classical works. I mean, I like what I like and I hate what I hate, and I don't care if it's a classic or not. Sorry, I'm all discombobulated. Again, I'm just kind of filming this. Got my computer set up just so the camera can see me, and the weird angle is odd if you're just popping in here. But anyway, I really enjoyed like the first chunk of the book, Just to give you, I will try not to give any spoilers away, but basically this guy named Torrin Daniels, he's an ex-NFL player, and he gets kicked off a team. I can't remember what team they said, but he gets kicked off a team because his anger gets out of control. Well, when he gets kicked off and he hurts another player just after an incident with rage, well, he always used football to kind of channel his rage, and it comes from his abusive father, and it's really sad. But then he starts taking it out on his family. So he wakes up 8 months later after his wife throws him out. He wakes up 8 months later. He doesn't remember where he's been for 8 months, and his wife wants to divorce him. His kids are kind of suspicious of him because he just lashed out, and his anger seems to be under control, but he still feels it popping out. And there's this mysterious friend of his from junior high named Leto. He keeps kind of following him around, threatens his family at one point, and I really enjoyed it. But about into the third act, there was a lot of stuff that I think was meant to be metaphorical, but it came off, I'm going to be honest, it came off just a little cheesy. And like I said, I liked it all up until that point and after that point. But it was a little predictable at that stage. Like before, I was really into the story. It was good. It was chugging along, and then it kind of hit the stall point where Torrin realizes that there was more to his treatment. And they keep making metaphors between Jekyll and Hyde and whatnot. I didn't really see that because Jekyll and Hyde is about a man who brings out his darker side. He wants to see if he can do it, if all his inhibitions are released. And of course, this evil Mr. Hyde pops out. But that being said, I did enjoy the book. Just that one little slow place in the third act, and like I said, before and after it, I loved it. It's just I feel like that part of the book where he's trying to seek out further treatment for his anger issues and all this, I just felt like that was a little forced. I kind of feel like maybe the author put a bunch of unnecessary stuff in to make it a little, make the book a little longer. And to me, you could tell. You can tell like he's just trying to edge this on. One other thing is there's a subplot that isn't really resolved. I guess maybe with the antagonist's decisions at the end, it is sort of, but it still kind of leaves you wanting, like what happens next? Where did he go from here? It was a subplot involving the main character, because the main character, he's trying to win back his family, show he's a changed man, all this, that, and the other. But it's really good. It's really interesting. I highly recommend it. So that's The Man He Never Was by James L. Rubert. The publisher is Thomas Nelson. So pick it up on Amazon. Pick it up at Barnes & Noble. And I'm sure Thomas Nelson has a store. And also probably anywhere books are sold. So now we're to something that is kind of bothering me just a wee little bit, Lassie. I can do that because I'm part Irish. Anyway, so there's been a lot of talk about Lando Calrissian. For my fellow Star Wars nerds, Lando, of course, appears in Empire Strikes Back. He's in Return of the Jedi, and you don't really see him again. There are rumors he's going to be in Episode 9, so they'll just ruin his character like they did Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, and Han Solo. And so in this, I haven't seen Solo yet. I'm going to wait for a matinee. I'm not really that enthused about it. I know it's kind of a sidequel or a prequel or whatever, like Rogue One was. And Rogue One was amazing. It's the best one that Disney has put out. But here's the thing. So first, one of the writers of Solo comes out and he says that Lando is pansexual. Pansexual is just a fancy way of saying a bi person who will hit anything that's breathing, as far as I can tell. It's whatever. And I don't know why they feel like they have to do these virtue signaling on beloved characters. I mean, if I was a pansexual I would be more offended that they're changing a straight person to fit this narrative just to virtue signal, but that's not how this world works anymore, right? So we got to virtue signal no matter what. So we're taking this character Lando, and who is obviously straight in Empire Strikes Back. You can tell by the way he flirts with Princess Leia, and I don't get it. I don't know why they're doing this. I think it's kind of ridiculous and stupid, but if you're going to make a pansexual character, like I'm willing to listen to that. Like, for instance, Kate Kane, she's Batwoman in the New 52 and Rebirth, and I like her character because why? They didn't take Kathy Kane and make her a lesbian. Sorry, that's my dog. Todd. They didn't do that. They made a new character that was related to Kathy Kane, and I think they should have done that with Lando, and just had a new character created for that, because I mean they're making new characters for these films anyway. So sorry, I'm doing this live, so the dog's barking is going to be on the final cut of this no matter what. So sorry about that. But anyway, now there has been talk, because apparently Donald Glover, who is an amazing actor, plays Lando in Solo: A Star Wars Story, which I'm predicting is going to be maybe not terrible. Some of the initial reviews have been kind of mixed. As most of you know, I don't really care about reviews. Christian Toto is really the only person who I think is a good movie reviewer these days. I should say people like Christian Toto, because he doesn't fall for the entertainment industry byline. And by the way, if you want good reviews, I'm going to give a shout out to Christian Toto. His website is hollywoodandtoto.com. Love his movie reviews. So anyway, back to Lando. So now Disney wants to do a Lando spinoff, because Donald Glover is one of the few things that's praised in Solo: A Star Wars movie. They want to take that off, and also Donald Glover, under his rap name Childish Gambino, sorry, he did this music video called "This Is America," and it's actually a pretty good song. I heard it, and I watched the music video. He's an incredibly talented guy. So this is not a statement about Donald Glover's talents. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he's a great rapper. I think he's a good singer. That being said, Disney is mishandling Lucasfilms. Now, I know that there are fake fans who don't like the prequel films, but let's be honest here. The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi are worse than the prequel films. Let's be honest. I mean, let's just say it. They're terrible. They ruined all the old characters, and with the exception of Rey and Kylo Ren, all the new characters are completely unnecessary. And because Carrie Fisher died, they should have re-edited The Last Jedi to where, I hate to say this, where she died in the film, and then Luke Skywalker could have come along for Episode 9. But no, they didn't want to do that. So now they're stuck in between a rock and a hard place with Episode 9. And to make matters worse, they picked the guy who ruined the new trilogy, J.J. Abrams, to direct it. So, I don't know. Disney is handling their Marvel properties correctly. I mean, there's some problems with them here and there. But how they're handling Star Wars has been a disaster. And with the exception of Rogue One. And what's worse is these new films don't age well. So when I first saw The Force Awakens, I was kind of like, oh, yeah, it's a good film. But now every time I like it less. And the same with Last Jedi. I was kind of neutral on The Last Jedi. But then I watched it a second time after it came out on Blu-ray. And I'm like, this is dumb. So I don't know what Disney wants exactly. It's kind of like they've lost the plot. They got a franchise that they didn't understand, and they didn't understand the fans. See, when they acquired Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige understood the fans, and fortunately they let him control it. But when they acquired Lucasfilms, instead of putting someone who knew Star Wars, even if they didn't want George Lucas, who I think gets a terrible rap these days, even if they didn't want George Lucas, they should have picked someone who at least knew the franchise. But they did a diversity pick, and I'm not saying that the person they chose let's see. I'm gonna get my I'm gonna get my phone real quick. Check out that cool this cool case that my wife got me. My wife is amazing. She embraces my um, my nerddom, and occasionally will join in it. So anyway, after they acquired it, they put Kathleen Kennedy in charge of it, right? So she was great at Amblin Entertainment. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. She was good. She ran Amblin Entertainment well. But then when she took over Lucasfilms, it's like she didn't know what she had, and so she keeps letting all these movies come out that are either dividing fans or that the fans are rejecting just rejecting. Period. Now, I've noticed that people who aren't really Star Wars fans are liking these new films, and that's a problem because it's not a problem in the sense that they want to pull in new fans. That's not the issue. But when you're not catering to your old fans at all, these new fans, they're going to be limited because what's carried Avengers through franchise fatigue is their regard for their fans. So they know the fans are what making them make money. So they're paying homage to them. And we even saw this in Infinity War, which I wrote a review for that at dailywire.com. Google Infinity War review Daily Wire, and you can read it. Anyway, it's been a couple of weeks, so it's kind of buried in the archives. Long and short of it, this talk of a Lando spinoff, and again, it's not a statement about Donald Glover as an actor. He's a fantastic actor. But I don't think an actor alone can carry as big a film as a Star Wars film. It's just not possible. They're supposed to be space operas. They're supposed to be epic. But we're getting drama, soap operas in space. And not space opera, we're getting soap operas. And there is a huge divide there. So I think that, I honestly think that this decision by Disney is a terrible idea. What they should have done is they should have done films, like if they want to do these spin-off films, they should have done ones that take place during the Old Republic. They could do the Sith Wars. They could do, I believe, they could, if they want to make up their own stuff, go for it. They could do films like that. But for them to, what's the word I'm looking for? For them just to say, hey, we're just going to go with a cheap trick. That's what the fans sense. That's what the fans don't like that. And these new films, this new trilogy, and these prequel films, with the exception of Rogue One, Gareth Edwards, and I don't care what anyone says, Gareth Edwards made that film happen. I think that this proves that Disney just doesn't know what they're doing, and they need to get a handle on it. And I'm sorry, Kathleen Kennedy, but if you want to stay in charge, fine, but you really need to find someone, I don't care who it is, but someone who knows about Star Wars to get into the driver's seat on some of these slated films. So, because we want a Kenobi film. We don't want Lando, we want Kenobi, and we want Ewan McGregor to play him. Bottom line, end of story. So thank you for listening to my rants. Again, apologies for the awful lighting. Apologies for the massive blank wall. Apologies for the weird camera angle. I'm in transition right now, but hopefully we'll have hopefully StudioJake will have a better backdrop and all the good stuff set up like I did before for StudioJake. So thanks for hanging with me. I'll see you guys and gals next Sunday. Be sure to subscribe, ring that little bell. You can follow me on Twitter at RealJacobAiry. My Instagram is real.jacob.airy. My Facebook is author Jacob Airy. My blog is www.jacobairy.blog. And of course, you can find more articles, more movie reviews, more am reading articles, things like that. And of course, you can find my political commentary on thedailywire.com. That's all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on StudioJake.